AS Paris have already locked up the minor league Division 1 title as of Matchday 11, but that doesn't mean there aren't stakes to these remaining matches. Relegation is certainly a threat for 5 of these teams, potentially, and even Paris have stakes of their own, as if they can avoid defeat the rest of the season, they will have completed an unbeaten campaign. Certainly something to celebrate in any circumstance. Hello everyone, I am Metafiction, and as always we have some fascinating matches for you today. AS Paris, as I say, still unbeaten, 10 wins and 1 draw and 0 losses to their name, en route to the Division 1 title here in the minor league. But they are still chasing that unbeaten dream. A season without losses, always something to try and strive to. They'll be in action later against Inter London. But for right now, we move to New Zealand, where North Shore United will get us kicked off against Krung Thep FC. Both these teams in other seasons might have been in hot pursuit of the title, second and third respectively. As there you see, Paris with a commanding lead that cannot be overtaken by any means. But North Shore and Krung Thep, 1 point separating them as of right now at the start of this match. North Shore on 18, Krung Thep on 17. North Shore having a bit of an up and down season. 6 wins, but 5 losses. And a -2 goal difference. And that does tend to happen when you have a team as dominant as AS Paris, as Neymarinho gets in here with a chance, but Ferguson does well to tip it behind. As I say, in any other season, these two teams could have been fighting for the title, but such was the dominance of AS Paris that what could have been a blockbuster matchup effectively rendered irrelevant for all reasons essentially except potential relegation implications. And even then, neither of these teams looking especially likely to face the drop as Stroh takes the shot and it cannons off of the crossbar. But I believe that was Nkufo called offside for Krung Thep. Vox chased by Oliver into Rashford. Now Urkel takes a shot, or takes a go. As Del Pirlo played a great through ball to Rashford, but the shot was saved by Ferguson. So here's Neymarinho on the corner for North Shore. Del Pirlo trying to flick it on, but that's way over. Long ball by Ferguson. Stroh headed on. Nkufo there. McNuggy takes the shot. And Weston McNuggy opens the scoring. Well, that was a brilliant move started by the long ball by Turd Ferguson there in goal. Stroh headed on to Nkufo. Nkufo heading into space for McNuggy to run into. And how about that finish? Just blasting it past wall there. So Krung Thep up 1-0 in the first half. Urkel nabs the ball off of Nkufo. Now forward to Cairo Vox. Oliver, though, doing well to try and poke that free. Gaisberg out to Tentacles. Tentacles dueling with Oliver. Now back to Gaisberg. Vox now crosses in. And it looked like Neymarinho was going for it, but that was headed away. Pena tries again, and Rashford just misses. Almost had Ferguson beat, but wide of the post in any case. Oliver with that free kick, and it's off the post there. Bruno Strongine as Krung Thep trying again. Lichtsteiner, and that's blocked by Urkel, and it's out for a throw. Another very close chance there by Krung Thep, very nearly getting a second. McNuggy on to Stroh, and Nkufo, what a great save by Wall, but it's offside regardless. Kerpan. Now Gaisberg North Shore passing it along their back line. Now Tentacles. Vox up the line, trying to find Rashford, but Lichtsteiner gets to it instead. Stroh off to McGool and back. Stroh running up the near wing. Pena trying to catch up. Cross goes in, and that's headed very nearly at the... That was very nearly a goal by Nkufo. Saved and did come out. Nkufo gets it back again, back to Oliver. Lifting it in for Stroh, and Wall does hold that one. A flurry of shots on goal there for Krung Tep. But Wall up to the challenge. Ferguson sending the long ball again. They scored off of a similar long ball. It's headed down to McNuggy. Makes a run. This time North Shore do get players back. And it's a corner kick, courtesy of the block. Oliver with that corner kick headed away. Now Barrera Strongine sending it back. I'm winding down in this first half. Neymarinho standing over the corner. And that's dealt with by Armaros in thunderous fashion. Neymarinho tries again, weaving around Oliver, trying to find the open player. Vox from close range, and that's blocked behind by Dave Oliver. So Neymarinho will try again from the corner, near post, and once again headed away. Pena to Kerpan, sending it all the way back to Gaisberg. Minutes of added time coming and going very quickly, and that will be the first half. Krung Tep with a 1-0 lead over North Shore United. North Shore had the upper hand for the start of that first half, but Krung Tep very quickly with that flurry of chances, pulling ahead in XG. But on the scoreboard, it is 1-0, and that is what matters. So will Krung Tep be able to hold on to this lead? Will they be able to extend it? Or can North Shore find a way back to level terms here? We are underway in the second half. North Shore in their all whites, has to be pointed out, is a little unusual given their propensity for wearing black. As that challenge comes in from Kerpan, McNuggy left lying on the ground. Play on, says the referee. McGool trying to cross in. Pena blocks. And McGool finally does put it out as McNuggy going to be attended to by the physio. Does look like they're going to play on, but a scary moment for sure for a team in the lead. Del Pirlo pokes it free for Rashford, takes the shot. It was an optimistic shot, and Ferguson tipping it over with little effort. Neymarinho to deliver the corner. Been several of those for North Shore today. And Pena sends that just over. Apostle to McNuggy as Krung Tep try to bring it up the pitch. Here's Oliver. Crosses in. Stroh lurking. Saved by Wall. What a good save that was by Brickwall Jr. Stroh had some real thunder behind that header, but able to keep it out. And now a corner kick. Rebounded to Oliver, who will let it go out for a throw. McGool. 1-2 with Stroh. Get back into play. Cross goes in, and McNuggy at the far post makes it 2-0. Well, that is how you play a set piece. McGool throwing it to Stroh, who immediately passes back, takes a couple of touches, and delivers a beautiful cross. If McNuggy hadn't gotten there and Nkufo was lurking, one of the two almost certain to score that. Excellently delivered, and it is 2-0. And Armaros with another corner, looking to make it 3 just inside 30 minutes to play. And that header skims the bar. Stroh again just unable to put the ball in the net, despite getting in good positions and making some very good headers. Vox finding Del Pirlo, and Alessandro Del Pirlo cuts the deficit to 1. Well, this is the sort of situation where you really need a player like Del Pirlo with veteran presence and incredible finishing. Ferguson just didn't get down fast enough to stop that. And North Shore back in this match. Here they come as well. Vox nearly losing to Lichtsteiner, but does keep it. Cutting inside and sending it all the way back. Kerpan finding Pena. Pena takes a touch past Magul, low cross, and it nearly falls to Vox. Ferguson able to save it, and Lichtsteiner sending it away, but that could have been real bad for Krungtep. But here's Nkufo, who is once again offside. Lichtsteiner with a deep throw into Krungtep as they look to try and hold on to this lead. Apostle, Armaros, and then back to Lichtsteiner. Through ball, and Nkufo gets that wrong and was offside again. Blaise Nkufo just timing all the runs wrong so far. The offside trap for North Shore working to perfection. Don't know whether that was part of the game plan or a happy accident, but it's helping them for sure as Neymarinho shoots it right at Ferguson. Oliver to deliver a corner, try and put this game out of reach in the closing minutes. Near post, nobody gets to it, and Bruera Strongine has to mop up. Time nearly wound down here. Less than a minute before added time as Ferguson dribbles the ball outside the box. Sending it long now. Here's Stroh. Takes the shot, and Wall holds on. Looked like Kerpan took a lot of speed off of it, but it's held by the keeper nonetheless. And 3 minutes of added time coming and going. As here's Krungtep with a corner in the dying seconds. It's headed out, and that will be it. Krungtep with a 2-1 win over North Shore United. And Krungtep moving up to second at the moment as a result of that match. Full credit to both teams. They certainly had a lot of chances, just couldn't make as many of them pay as they needed to. Certainly North Shore will be kicking themselves for missing a couple of those chances, but Krungtep as well could have made this scoreline much more one-sided. It's Weston McNuggy with a brace, who's your player of the match, was able to finish both of those chances, did really well, and led the team to the victory. So Krungtep with a 2-1 win over North Shore United in what was, I would imagine, a very important match. Now we move on to FC Kapstad taking on Rapid Magyar. Kapstad currently one of those teams having a little bit of danger here, as they are currently on 14 points, just 2 points ahead of Rapid Magyar for that 5th spot. Kapstad with a 4-3-1-2, a very midfield-centric tactic. Meanwhile, Rapid Magyar going a different way with a 4-2-4. And there you see, as a consequence of that previous match, Krungtep moving up ahead of North Shore to second place in Division 1. Guso. Space out to Harper. Slow build from Rapid here. And that pass for space intercepted. Neither of these teams wanting to find themselves in a playoff situation. Even with the expansion, it would be a bit of an ignominious instance if either of these teams were to drop to Division 2. More losing out to Von Wolf, excuse me. But now Kapstad losing out themselves. Long ball from Stevens, it's headed down for Nguso. And a long shot there by Evil. Did force a save out of Walrus, so it will be a corner. That one's headed away. And that'll be a throw for Rapid. Kapstad trying to find the optimal angle, but Quackery Do intercepting, and now Rapid on the break. Here's Bryant. Has numbers in the center, finds Phil Space, slots it past Walrusson. That was an incredible counter-attacking display by Rapid Magyar there. Quackery Do with the interception, and it's Evil who starts it off with Nguso. Bryant finding that perfect pass and a great run from space, just an excellently executed move all around for Rapid. So 1-0 to the Rapid as Kapstad now looking for answers of any sort. Here's Wolf. Wolf with the cross, finding Martel, who heads it right at the goal. Stevens just about able to keep it out. And on the third, sending that careening at the hands of Stevens, who pushes it over. Kasak will deliver the corner for Kapstad. It's up in the air, McNougal. And again, and that's over. Kasak will deliver the corner again. It's out for Pedro. Kasak again. Gets around Harper, takes the shot, and Stevens with another acrobatic save. This corner heads near post. Mormor just about clearing it, but Kasak gets to it first. Blocked by his own teammate, it looked like. Jane got in the way of the shot. And that will come to nothing for Kapstad, but they do have another corner here. It's headed out for Pedro, who takes the shot, and that's just wide. So a promising spell for Kapstad, but comes to nothing in the end. But they're going to try and build again. Here's Hom the third. Dribbles it in close, and Joshua Hom the third, Esquire Limited, with a 1-1 goal. Let's look again at how that transpired. Jang with a perfectly weighted pass, and then on the third, cutting in and just running straight at the keeper before tucking it around them. Excellent ball movement there by Kapstad, who level things here inside 30 minutes. Space. Now Evil, sending it back to DeSoto. All the way back to Stevens in goal. One more with the cross in, and that's headed up and headed past the goal. And that will be a goal kick to Kapstad. But now a free kick, resulting in Harper sending it back. Squid finding Quackery-Doo. Kapstad with the interception, dribbling forward, but long ball by Stevens puts paid to that. Bryant now. Back to Mormor. And up the line again for Bryant and Gusso. McDougall with a good challenge. Hunt for Kapstad. Finds a great pass to Von Wolf, and close range just misses, and Von Wolf was offside. Well, that could have been a real heartbreaker just a little bit before halftime. But it was a miss and offside at that. Now the ball coming forward for Rapid. Here's Nguso. Cuts it back, Mormor. Quackery-Doo takes a shot, but Kasak blocks it very quickly. Mormor forced back, and that pass poor. Some very quick passing here for Kapstad on the break. Wolf again. Cross goes in, trying to find and that's headed away for a throw. And there you have it at the break. We are all square here in Cape Town. 1-1 your score after 45 minutes. Rapid drew first blood, but Kapstad did end up equalizing. So it remains to be seen which team, if either, has the upper hand here. In terms of XG, it's Kapstad with the edge, but once again, the only stat that matters is the scoreboard. So we'll have to see how these teams fare in the second half, what tactical changes, if any, they make, what adjustments they can make. Vandeman's coming on to replace Hunt for Kapstad as we get the second half underway. That's, of course, in their all green as always. Rapid once again with their purple and black. And it has to be said, one of my favorite color combinations in the entire SSL is Rapid Magyar's purple and black. As Fantabens, in the meantime, pushes that past Stevens in goal, and Kapstad take the lead right after the half. Well, of course, the moment I praise their uniforms, they concede a goal, but what a finish by Fantabens, low and powerful. Just absolutely drilled that past. Bryant now with a corner for Rapid, and that's headed away. Bryant still with it. And Harper taking a great shot, but Walrus unable to keep that out for a corner. And that's headed in at close range by Greg Evil, and once again we are tied. Well, that is brilliant set-piecery by Rapid. Evil doing really well to rise over everyone else and head that ball in. So 2-2 your score as we enter the last 30 minutes of the match, and it's a throw-in deep for Kapstad. Evil, though, getting onto it, and Rapid trying to break now. Gets past Pedro. Still dribbling. Trying to get away through legs. It's Fantabens, and Quackery-Doo will get credit for the goal, and again Rapid find themselves in front. Well, let's look at that again, as here's Evil beating Pedro, nearly beating Say, and Fantabens trying to clear it, but instead hits it into Quackery-Doo, and it ricochets into the goal. An unfortunate way to concede for Rapid. But Rapid Magyar will not complain as they are now in the lead. Jang, though, takes the long shot, and Stevens gets down to block it. They're on now for Kapstad. Pedro finding Now, Wolf takes the shot, but it's into the crowd and rebuffed. Wolf trying to get in position, takes the shot, and that goes in from Bad Wolf to Dante Von Wolf. Once again, the Wolf Pack coming in clutch for FC Kapstad, if VAR allows it, which it will. Well, Wolf was on the throw and played the 1-2 with Phantomins, dribbled into the center, pursued by Quackery-Doo, and again it looks like it took an unfortunate deflection off of a Kapstad player, except this time it was a very fortunate deflection, so really nothing like the previous one. Nevertheless, a great moment for Kapstad as they once again level up this match. It is 3-3, and Harper nearly broke the deadlock once again with that shot. It will be a corner as we have less than 15 minutes remaining. And that's headed up into the air, and Okada able to get rid of it. DeSoto sending it all the way back to Stevens, who now sends the long ball. Evil. Can't find a teammate. It's over the top for Harper, who puts the cross in. And Nguso from very close range forces a great diving save from Walrusson. So a corner for Rapid, looking for a winner here in the late stages. Up in the air, and Kasak putting it out again. Rapid going to try again here from the corner. And that one's headed away with no trouble by Martel. And now Kapstad could be on the break here. Here's Kasak, but a good challenge from Mormor to stuff that move. And that shot from Quackery-Doo goes over. Nguso dribbling, but Phantomins intercepting the pass. 5 minutes of added time on the fourth official's board. As Kapstad holding on to possession, maybe playing for the draw here. Phantomins heads down. Now here's Kasak. Up the far wing. Trying to get past Say. Does. Cross goes in, and that's headed nearly at goal by Phantomins. I stand corrected. They are, in fact, pushing for a winner, but they don't get it there, and now it's a corner for Rapid. About a little over half our stoppage time has expired here as Nguso sends that near post. It's up in the air, Evil, and Brian takes the shot into the crowd and tries again, and it's all the way out to Quackery-Doo as Harper, with another chance for Rapid, takes that shot, and another save by Duncan Walrusson. Corner goes back out to Nguso, who loses out, and that'll be a goal kick to Kapstad. Really, with only seconds remaining, they do have a goal kick here. Perhaps a last chance at a winner. Up in the air, Martel can't get to it. Pedro out to Van Wolf, and Von Wolf sending that well over, and that should just about do it, and it will. Honors even here in Kapstad. 3-3 your final. Well, it was a very back-and-forth match, one for the neutrals for sure. Rapid scored first through Phil Space, but able to get the equalizer, and then Phantomins drilling one in to make it 2-1. Then, of course, later on was the goal by Dante Von Wolf, assisted by Bad Wolf. Meanwhile, for Rapid, there was goals by Quackery-Doo, Space, and Evil, who is your player of the match. Not only a goal, but also some excellent maneuvers on the pitch today. Well deserving. And so that is our final 3-3 in Cape Town. Helps neither team in the end. And now we move to our final match of the day, which sees Inter London against AS Paris. And these two teams could not be more different. Obviously, there's the whole rivalry between England and France. But this season, AS Paris have been absolutely dominant, while Inter London have not. Let's just leave it at that. That said, anything can and usually does happen in the SSL. Inter London do have a very talented team. Even though they're already in the relegation playoff, and they're forced to give the guard of honor to AS Paris, who clinched the league title last match day. Certainly something that they might resent just a little bit. But nevertheless, Inter London do have talent and could easily upset the newly crowned champions. And of course, as I said at the top of the broadcast, Paris playing for an unbeaten season, which would of course require not dropping points to the team with only 2 draws to their name all season. Sounds easy on paper, but complacency can certainly turn things on their head, as that shot by Nelson, right at Kakao, tipped over for a corner. Empire sends the ball in, up in the air. It's down for Jameson, who gets another corner out of it. London, of course, in the blue and gold. AS Paris in the white with the sash. And that one's headed over and goes out for a goal kick. Corner goes in, and that's headed just wide. Long ball falls to Fensterhausen, who sends it back to Aguilera. AS Paris have been on a tear in the minor Division 1 in recent seasons, as here's Tarandis, through ball to Kovacs, and it ends up going out for a goal kick. The Paris dominant in Division 1 in the minors. Certainly the team to beat as it stands, and proved it as much again this season. Tarandis, near post for Kovacs, who forces the corner. Corner goes in, up in the air. Jameson trying to head it forward, but Kakao holds on. Free kick here as London bring the ball forward, but that pass intercepted by Acton. Berenson now. McZerl trying to close down. Mendes does get it back. And now Kane. Kane brings it down on the 1-2, and that shot blocked. O'Neal with a follow-up, and that's into the side netting. Berenson with that free kick from deep. Headed down, and it's Ben Nelson who opens the scoring for Paris. And they are showing why they're the champions. An excellent move here from the free kick. It was up in the air. It looked like it was headed down by an Inter London player, but Nelson in exactly the right spot to take advantage. So 1-0 your score as it stands. Paris taking the lead in the first half. Over the top, here's Berenson, low cross, and that's Owen goal. And that's 2-0 to Paris in short order. Well, that was another brilliant move by Paris. Sprayed out wide to Berenson on the wing with a low cross to goal, who just tips it out of the way of Kakko in goal. And what a finish that was. Inter London 0, Paris 2, and the Party Dome is silent. Ball worked through to goal again. Trying to find a teammate. It falls to Empire, who shoots wide. It looks like it was blocked, so it's going to be a corner. Empire sent in near post, up in the air, and that's out for a goal kick. Berenson, dispossessed in the box, but goal has a second shot, and Kakko holding on. This match has been all Paris from the word go. Jameson takes the shot, and it's tipped onto the bar by Kakko for another corner kick. Berenson delivers, and that's headed over, and it's going to be a goal kick to London. London looking a little bit outmatched, certainly giving it their all, but Paris on a completely different level right now, as here's McZero losing out to Berenson, who sends it back to the keeper. Worked out to Tarandis. Low cross, and that nearly deflected in. Isaias Paris with another corner. And that will follow all the way back out to Acton, who will send it back. A free kick from Francis, and that goes wide. Nelson sending it all the way back once again. Paris like to build with their keeper Aguilera. Monroe nearly dispossessing Acton, but as it is, Suzuki, trying to find Tarandis, but nothing doing. Kakko sending it long, but Fensterhausen first to it. Over to Randis, forward to Empire. Empire cuts inside, and Eden Empire with a shot to make it 3-0. AS Paris on fire right now, showing the exact form that made them dominant champions this season. It's an excellent move here as Empire takes that touch around Yurtong to clear a lane and just drills it past Kakko. Nothing the keeper could do about that one. Empire just onside, as you can see, played on by Eriksson and Lizard. Just a couple minutes to go before halftime, and McZerl stands over the free kick, finds Francis, and a good diving save by Aguilera. At one time, one of the best goalkeepers in the entire SSL, still showing he has what it takes to compete at a high level. Berenson. Cross goes in. Empire heads it right at Kakko, who's able to save it, but Takaharu Suzuki in exactly the right spot to bury that chance and make it 4-0 just before the half. Well, here's the replay again. Berenson with a great cross. It was Empire who headed away. Kakko with a good save. But then Suzuki on the second chance. Kakko can't react in time from that range. And AS Paris up 4-0. And right before halftime, Kakko sending it long. Referee could blow his whistle any minute now. Suzuki finding Aguilera. Fensterhausen. Monroe in hot pursuit does find the pass. Suzuki through ball, finding Owen Goal, taking that optimistic shot, and that goes over the bar. And that will do it for the first half. AS Paris in incredible form. 4-0 the score right now. And Inter London really, really looking lost in a lot of ways. Certainly looking like a team that has yet to win a single match this season. It was always going to be a very tough test, but they haven't really shown up today. Meanwhile, AS Paris doing everything they can to get some more goals on the scoreboard, even when it literally doesn't matter at all for them. They've already locked up the title. There is nothing that can take it away from them at this point. This is more or less just for show, I would imagine, as Davy Barr making their way onto the pitch, and Igningnok and Saba Kvetsia coming on for Paris. I sincerely hope I said those names right. Nelson intercepting that pass for Paris. Eriksson, though, with a good sliding challenge to poke it free for McZerl. Corner kick here as O'Neal sending it in. Up in the air. It falls back to O'Neal. Takes the shot, blocked, and Nelson, with the help of Kvetsia, putting it out of danger. Berenson beating Francis on the far wing. Now Nelson. Headed back out, and London come forward again. Mendes. To Francis. McZerl heading it forward, and that shot by Barr just wide. That could have been a huge shot in the arm for London, but couldn't get it on target. The best chance they've had since that one in the first half. Time passing very quickly. Just over 15 minutes to play here. Paris not looking like letting up for anything, as here's Empire. Back to Tarandis, takes the shot, and Kakko palms it over. Empire now with the corner kick. Near post, that's headed away by several London defenders. Monroe nicking the ball off the throw in, and that's booted all the way back to Aguilera, who is out of goal but does send it long and out of danger. Nelson. Suzuki. Fensterhausen now. Trying to take on Barr here, and can't. Nelson again back to the defense, and back to the goalkeeper. Fensterhausen trying again. Here's Suzuki out to Tarandis, and now Empire from a tight angle, and just about cleared off the line there by Angry Lizard. That could have easily been a fifth if it had trickled in. Good thinking there by Lizard. AS Paris still with the ball, but now here come London on the break. Monroe leading the way with the ball, forced to tail off, leaves it for O'Neal. And now Sharko to Marco. Berenson with that cross in. Empire very nearly getting it past Kakko. A good save there. Berenson whips it in, and that's headed over the bar. Berenson rounding the box and takes the shot, and that's wide. Well, time winding down, in Paris, never in any danger of losing this one, have been the dominant team from pillar to post. As Empire over the top takes the shot themselves, and Yurtong able to block. Paris keeping that dream of the unbeaten season alive. That ball goes in, up in the air. O'Neal with a diving header to get it clear. Still putting in the effort despite being 4 goals down with only 4 minutes to play. You have to laud that. Very strong professionalism in this London team. As Kakao holds on to that ball. Does send it long, and it falls to Jamestown. Durandis into Empire. Empire with the cross, and Kovacs very nearly putting another one past Kakao, but another good save by Kakao, who despite conceding 4 has made some very good saves. Nelson. Vekvetsia. And that is that. The referee blows for full time, and AS Paris with a commanding 4-0 win over Inter London. Paris continue to have not lost a game this season. Inter London still looking for their first win of the season. Not much you can say about Inter London's performance today. They just weren't ready to deal with the threat of AS Paris, and it showed. Some good saves by Joseph Daniel Kakao, but it wasn't enough to stop the absolute juggernaut that was AS Paris. Eden Empire, your player of the match with a goal and assist. Goals also by Owen Goal, Ben Nelson, and Takaharu Suzuki. They've already won the title, and they won their very next game in dominant fashion. There can be no doubt that they are worthy champions. As we move on to review our results for today and see how that affects the table going into the final 3 matches of the season. Krung Thep with that 2-1 win over North Shore United vaults them into second on the table. Rapid Magyar and FC Kapstad honors even there in Cape Town. And then, of course, AS Paris already clinched the championship with a 4-0 win over last place Inter London. Well, the last few matches should be very entertaining for everybody, especially the neutrals, really. And we hope you'll join us for those. Until then, this has been Metafiction. Take care.